Hi there, it's Steph. Thanks for popping by. Today I wanted to share with you a card I made for a very nice lady on Instagram who sent me some goodies. And I basically just wanted to make a thank you card to say thank you. So I started by stamping my images with some VersaFine black onyx black on some Strathmore watercolor paper Bristol. And I used my embossing buddy bag to remove the static, and I stamped, and then I used a mix of embossing powders that I've made with some holographic powder and some clear embossing powder. I find that the holographic embossing powder sticks better when you put some clear with it, otherwise I find that it just flakes off eventually and it doesn't look very pretty. Once I was done with that, I used some masking fluid and I've colored the butterflies so that I could color my background without, staining the butterflies really. So that masking fluid is actually really good. It dries pretty quick, so while you apply it, the first images start drying, so you don't have to wait very long, but you can use the heat gun on it if you do want to. Then I picked a few colors. I believe it was picked raspberry, peacock feathers, and evergreen bough from the Ranger Distress ink, and I just splattered a lot of droplets of ink color basically. I'm really sorry because I'm literally just under the light, so it tends to reflect on the paper and you can't see how bright the colors are. You can see it on the photos, but it took me a little while. I used a heat gun in between each layers just to make sure that the colors don't mix together and just layer on the top of each other. So, that took a little bit, but it's not that long. When I was done with that, I've removed the masking fluid. You just need to be careful about that masking fluid because the ink that's on it doesn't actually dry properly, so it stains your fingers and you could very well stain your paper as well, so you need to be careful. That's why I started with the eraser and then I gave up and I went with the finger and I just peeled it off. I thought it came off better and it was less risky. Then I used my color. Yeah, I did use some mustard seed as well. I just did very, very easy watercoloring of the butterflies. I just wanted them to be very bold and very vibrant in color, so they would pop against the colorful background. Although it's not a full background, it's a droplets background, I suppose you could say, but I wanted them to pop against it. So I put a few layers on some of them just to intensify it. You can't really put a lot of shading there because the colors are already really vibrant. So I just go ahead and keep on adding a few layers until I'm happy with it. And once I'm happy with it, I will just trim the edges and stamp my greeting on a piece of vellum. What I quite like with vellum is that you can position it on your card you can actually see through it obviously, so it helps you position this greeting so that it's not on the stamped images, but in that case in between stamped images, so I find it easier to read and I think it pops better. So here I attach my piece of vellum so it wouldn't slide off my mat, and I stamp with some StazOn ink because it dries really quickly, and I find that it's the best ink for that. I'm not even sure if there's another ink that actually stick to vellum. I've always used StazOn and I think it's the best. Once I was done with that, I used my white gel pen and I just add a few dots to the flies to make them look a little bit more sophisticated. And it's not much, but I think it adds a lot to the final result, so I'm really pleased with that. And I hope the lady from Instagram liked it as well. So yeah, I just keep going until I'm done with all the butterflies, and then I will just attach my greeting onto the card. I don't know if there's a better way to attach a greeting with vellum, but what I do, I basically position my piece of vellum onto the card and I use my nail to mark the edge of the cardstock, and I fold it and turn it around and just put a little bit of glue, and I just attach one side, and when I'm done I do the same thing on the other side. That might be a better way, but that's the way I use, and it works for me, so it may work for you. So I did a little bit of white onto the greeting just to add a little bit of shading. I'm not sure it really makes a difference, but I like shading. I've been shading a lot recently. I mean, for once I didn't use any glossy accent, but I really like that card. The glitter of the embossing powder really pops. I mean, it might not be obvious on the video. I think you can see some of it, but I really like the shimmer of the embossing powder there, so I think it works very well. Once I'm done with attaching the gritting, I placed the card front onto my blank card, and that's pretty much it. I did put a lot of glue because when I watercolor, it tends to warp a little bit, particularly with the heat gun. So just final finishing touches, and here we go. So I hope you like it. Thank you very much for popping by. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up, and for close-up photos, please head over to my blog, and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.